Hi guys, so I have actually been getting so many requests and compliments on my eyebrows. I know you would not be able to tell by the way that they look right now, but I wanted to walk you quickly through a step-by-step quick tutorial using some products that I've been using for the last, I want to say like year. It's literally just Benefit Brows all the way. They have such a nice collection of brow products for every type of brow that you could possibly want. My personal aesthetic for brows, I like where it's just kind of like a shadow behind your natural brows and you fill them in and they just look so nice and wispy and they look more like your brows, not like you really like drew them on. Just an FYI, this is not a sponsored video or anything. I just happen to really love the Benefit products. So without further ado, let me walk you through step by step. Okay, so first I'm going to take the Bravo, sorry, conditioning primer, and I just twist a little bit up so you can see a little bit comes out, and I just comb through my brows. So I usually do this while I moisturize my face and everything so it has time to dry before I actually move on to doing my makeup. Again, just a little bit, and we're just going to brush up and out. So now I am just going to let that dry slightly, but I like it because it just pushes my brows up. It's kind of like the same theory as the soap brows, you know how they just kind of keep them in place and you can see kind of where needs filling in. So next I'm going to take the Benefit Foolproof Brow Powder in the shade 3. So when choosing a brow powder, I like to choose a shade that is lighter than my natural hair color and lighter than my brow shade, just because if you match, like I used to do back in the day, if you match your brow powder or pomade or pencil to the actual color of your brow, you're gonna get these like block brows. Now that could be your style, but me personally, that's just not my aesthetic. So I really use more of the lighter shade than the darker shade, but I'm just going to pick up on the lighter shade, and this is just a e.l.f. 203 brush. It has a little angle on one side and then the little spoolie on the other side. So I like to start in really the arch, like I have one sparse area right here. So I just like to start by brushing backwards, and when you brush back you're going to get more of a feathered effect and a lighter effect, because again, I don't want this to be a crazy, bold, dramatic brow. I really do want to see all of the individual brow hairs that I have, but I'm just creating a little shadow behind it. This way it just looks a little bit more dense. And as you can see, I'm brushing horizontally, kind of like backwards. It seems a little unorthodox, but you'll see when I brush it all out why I do that. My brows are getting so unruly. Okay, so now that I feel like I have brushed back enough, I'm just going to take the spoolie end and brush up and out. And as you can see, I can still see my real brow hairs. It just looks a little bit fuller than this side. See, there's just more of a shape to it. So I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Next, I'm going to take the Precisely My Brow pencil in the shade 4. Now again, this shade is definitely lighter than my natural brow shade. My natural brow shade is probably closer to the 6. It is, or a 5. It's very, very dark, almost black, but I don't want to make lines that shade exactly, because as precise and thin as this line is, I feel like it's just never going to be quite as defined, especially when I blend it out, as my actual brow hairs. So again, I'm just going to take the pencil side, and I like to look up slightly and then fill in the little sparse areas. So I like to actually roll it up a little bit more than what would seem comfortable I feel like I just have a little bit more control over making a nice sharp defined line, as opposed to if it's rolled down like this, I feel like I can't get as sharp. And I'm just making very tiny little hair-like strokes. And I'm kind of going right in that area that I just filled in with the shadow. And take the opposite side and brush up and out. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. So I look up slightly, and then there's a sparse area here, a little bit over there, so I'm just going to fill those in. Then after I'm done combing through my brows, I like to take a little Q-tip and some micellar water, however you pronounce it. Just put a little bit on the tip. And then to get just a cleaned up brow, similar to when you take concealer, this is just a little bit more of a natural look when you use a Q-tip. This way you're not putting too much product around your eyes. I just like to go right up against the edge of the brow. Really clean it up. And same thing on the top. And then to finish off the brow, I am just going to set it with the Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter. I like it because this brush has two different sides. You have the longer side and then the tighter side. You can see the longer side's on the bottom, the tighter side's on top. This way, I like to use the longer side first to just brush through and disperse the product. And then I use the tighter side to brush the hairs up and out to really keep them in place. And that concludes my brow tutorial. I hope it was easy enough to follow along. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to shoot them down below and I will get back to you as quick as I can. If you have any requests for future videos, go ahead and leave that down in the comment section below as well. And I think that's about it. Be sure to follow me on all my social media before you leave. I will list that next, and thanks for stopping by.